Hey friends, today I'm going to come to you on a more serious note in lieu of the missing Sudiksha Konanki. I am devastated, to say the least. So today I will not be joining you as your host, but rather a friend, a sister, a mother, a wife, and I just want to talk about, more or less get this off my chest as I watch things. I have a unique um, position in all of this, having been born, raised here by American uh, parents who obviously, if you've listened to my other podcasts, my father is an immigrant to the United States and my mother is born and raised here. Having understood the process of even my husband and how he came here and his parents and their mentalities and his brother and his mentality and the arranged marriage process as I've been through it and the visa process and the green card process and the citizenship process and all that nonsense aside, it is something that I sit back and I look at what is taking place. As a person who has been in the Dominican Republic, I have photographed weddings in the Dominican Republic, and I have seen people beyond drunk in the Dominican Republic of all different races, ethnicities, sizes, shapes, and ages. And I am furious about the situation with this young girl. I have kids, 3 boys and 2 girls, and I could never imagine as a parent. So I'm going to speak on multiple notes with regards to how this all is breaking down for different age groups and different people of different parts of the world. And as a parent, I'm going to speak first. I could never imagine my daughters leaving a friend in that situation alone with somebody that they just met hours before. So that is one thing that burns me up. But I also know as a parent that my kids aren't the same people with me that they are with their friends. And so I understand that. And I see through that as well. And I am understanding of that. I also feel with my boys would never, ever let their buddies put themselves in a situation where they could be in the same situation as this young man, whether or not he's innocent or guilty or whatever he is. There are only 2 people right now who know where Sudiksha is, and that is him and her. And unfortunately for me as a mom, the story doesn't make sense. And this is not because I am bias. This is because I am all of those things. I'm a mom. I am a sister. I am a daughter. I am a wife. And it just doesn't make sense. And so I start at the top with this story. And I want to say that from a sister's perspective, in which I'm not sure Sudiksha has a sister, but I would imagine that she does not because we have not heard from anybody. And that is even more tragic for this family who may very well just have one daughter that they've put all their eggs in one basket. And they have nurtured this young woman who they have named after the goddess of Lakshmi, because that is exactly how Indians treat their girls. And it breaks my heart to think that the world is not more cultured than it is. It breaks my heart to think that any young man, no matter where he's from in the world, would take advantage of the position of a young woman in such a way that you don't know her. Why are you pulling her into you? Why are you leaning into her? Why are you at the beach with her in the dark where neither of you can really hear each other? If you have been to the Dominican, have been a person at a wedding in the Dominican, it is loud there. You could all be quiet on the beach and you can't hear each other talk, sitting next to each other because the waves are so loud, whether red flags are raised or not. It just doesn't make sense. And even the stories that are coming out and the fact that she, the latest news that Sudiksha was sick and she's, obviously vomiting in this venue. The fact is if you watch that video, you see that the one friend who is commonly mistaken by the news channels as Sudiksha walking with the other friend of his in the floral little beach shirt is the only one kind of lingering near her, while the other 2 girls almost act as if they are embarrassed by the situation that is going on, which leads me to believe while they may have drank, also, they're not intoxicated. So we have 6 friends who are all together, and 5 of them could not make a good decision not to let this young girl be left on the beach. Okay. I understand we're young, dumb, and, we imagine that we can go out. We think we're bulletproof and we want to be cool and we want to feel like adults. And I get that. Like, I was there once too. But what I don't get is how we've done her so wrong, how we've left her, and now nobody knows where she is. And this young man had approximately 5 hours to figure out what happened to her. Where is she? Have we walked 3 hours, 2 hours in each direction of this beach? Because his shirt's missing, which could have easily been used as some type of item in which could have helped assist him in taking her along the beach shores where you wouldn't see footprints. I mean, I'm no genius here, but there's never footprints in the sand that stay there. I just don't understand how we go from that situation that evening, okay? We see text messages. Obviously, this girl is going on this excursion with these other girls, right? She paid for it. It's clearly in the emojis. So we go through this. She spends time on the beach. I have a very hard time coming from the marriage of a Telugu boy, understanding and believing that they're just on the beach where they can't hear each other, where they just met and they're kissy. Okay? The beach is a dangerous place. It doesn't even make sense. Actually, that sounds a little condescending to me. So I'm trying to understand how we get to the beach, and then I see no shoes, no socks, because Lord knows they were crew and almost hitting his kneecaps. I see no shirt. That was the first thing I said when I saw the video. He's probably a wrestler because he's got that nipple sharing shirt on. So I don't understand, where are those items? If we're going to get out here and we're going to put pictures of Sudiksha vomiting, then let's get all the facts straight and let's answer them. As we know, this family has pleaded not to project her image like this all over, because for Indian families, and especially South Indian families, image is everything, and they don't want their little girl shamed. The hardest part for me to sit back as a parent and watch is that when our kids become adults, according to the United States at the age of 18, we can't protect them anymore. So we have to sit back as parents and we have to watch as her image gets plastered all over the news. And not only are the parents feeling shame and disappointment and loss and hurt, and maybe even like they just weren't good enough parents, we are constantly showing this, adult or not being respectful. It serves nobody to put it out there. And what if we've not lost her? And she has to come back and she has to deal with this. How she might feel because of it. Why have we not heard these girls speaking? Because it's clear that another one in the pack hooked up with the other friend who was in the floral shirt and the shorts and the flip-flops, who the media keeps getting confused with Sudiksha when it wasn't, in fact, her. It just makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And I think the more information that comes out of his mouth just makes me more and more mad. Like he's trying to assist them in finding her. The beach is a dangerous place. That rings through my head so fast and so hard. Why would you say that? Why do you make yourself sound like a hero, like you saved her and brought her back on the beach? But Sudiksha's not here with us. So where is she, hero? It's time to take off your cape, because it's obvious you didn't save her, or we would be singing a different tune, telling a different story. And that very same set of parents would not even be bringing any attention to this, because culture would just say, let's act as if it didn't happen. Let's not shame our daughter. Let's not shame our family. Let's just let it go and let's move on, because that's what this culture does. And that's what these families do. And that's what these parents want to do. I am not only angered, but I am upset as a girlfriend to other friends that you girls let her down and you left her on that beach with somebody most likely uncultured, that saw her as very exotic and beautiful, and that there's a chance her parents won't see her again. And that breaks my heart. But I hope, for your sake, that because we know better, we'll do better. I hope that every young man and every young woman out there on college campus today is reminding themselves of the importance that no matter where you go, we cannot shelter you as parents, and we're not trying to do that. God knows they let her go to the Dominican, knowing the drinking age there. Knowing that they were probably reassured that she was going to be with 5 other people and they all had each other's back and nothing bad was going to happen. That they were just doing what everybody else does and going to spring break and having a good time together before her senior year in college. That there's a good chance she may not even get to see. As a wife and as a mom, unfortunately, I have the understanding of having your daughter disappear. Not knowing, thinking, guessing, assuming. As a parent who thinks that I've done everything right, it's a feeling I wish on nobody. This is a community that I respect, admire, and love more than anything in this world. You know, coming from a very strong upbringing with my dad being German, it was almost brutal in a lot of ways. And having met my husband and seen such a kind, caring, compassionate individual, I kind of knew right away he was the one. And I'm surrounded by friends who are in the same situation as Sudiksha's parents, where they are excited that their kid has made it to college, that their kid is successful in college, and that she's made friends and she's nurtured relationships, and she makes me so proud. And probably right now, if I could, I would just hug Sudiksha's mom and just cry with her, because I can't imagine what she's going through or how she's feeling, or how much that family, not as a statement, but genuinely just wants their privacy to be respected in this time by the news, by friends, by family, because they're working through some pretty difficult, tough stuff. But I'm going to ask those sources out there, YouTubers alike, to just shut down what you're saying. You know, it is very hard culturally for a family like that to hear him say that they were kissy, because it's just not something that as parents we want to wrap our heads around. It's not something that we want to hear in a time where she doesn't have a voice to speak for herself. So I watch these news stations and I see the reports that are coming out and the misinformation that even from our top news stations here in the United States. And I say, shame on you, shame on you, shame on you for putting information out there, identifying the wrong people in the wrong clothing. You don't even have your facts straight, let alone your reporting. You can't even say her name right, let alone your reporting. And then for all these YouTubers that I see out there that also do not have the facts, but are just looking to gain on the simple fact that this story is trending. People are interested in this story. We're on day 10 and 11, and this is going to start winding down. And we have no Sudiksha. So our efforts are better invested in stating the facts. Our efforts are better invested in seeing the fact that he lawyered up, because if you were a man and you were in this situation and you had parents, they would want to lawyer up too. Wise decision, my friend. But this will loom over all of them, the families. This isn't just 1, 2, 3 people who are affected. This is a whole community. And that boy, if she's not found, will live under suspicion for the rest of his life. And the comments that he's making aren't even making any sense. The pieces don't even fit together. But yet today he's decided that they're going to let him go home because they can't detain him there anymore. Without charging him, they can't keep him there anymore. So what happens today? Does he get to go home even though she didn't? That's tough. My heart, my hope, and my prayers are with everybody that is hurting right now over the disappearance of this young, beautiful girl. I pray that either way we find her, that in some way, good or bad, her family gets closure. Because there would be nothing more painful than knowing your child's out there and there's nothing you can do for her. Let's bring Sudiksha home.